Welcome to the Next Brave Step podcast. My name is Chelsy Weisz. Each week, we'll dive into how you can cultivate more joy, curiosity, and dare I say confidence to show up and do the work to achieve that vision of your life that maybe you've been just a little too afraid to even whisper out loud to anyone else just yet. This is a show for creatives who are ready to take themselves seriously, attract their dream clients, and build a business that reflects what they want for their life. I'm so grateful you're here. So let's go ahead and dive into the episode. When you think about marketing your photography business, there's probably a few different things that come to mind. You're probably thinking about social media, running ads, or maybe even something physical like a flyer, business cards, or maybe even a billboard. Then there's also things like radio, magazine, websites, and stylized shoot. All of these forms of marketing can be categorized into two basic types. Today, I want to break down what these two types of marketing are and why you should be choosing some things from both categories in order for your business to work now and in the future. So, all forms of marketing can fall into two main categories, like I said earlier. These two things are short-term and long-term marketing. Short-term marketing are things like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, a radio ad, or maybe even an ad in the newspaper. While longer-term marketing are things like podcasts, SEO, and even stylized shoots. A successful business is going to use a good mix of both short-term and long-term marketing strategies. So let's go ahead and talk about these strategies today. Let's go ahead and start with the short-term marketing strategies. So what are the benefits of using short-term marketing in your business? Short-term marketing is great for getting the word out super quickly about something that you have going on. It can produce a temporary boost in business and in traffic, and you can see some semi-instant results from your efforts. So whether it's things like an Instagram post or views on your reel, you're gonna find out pretty quickly if something is working or if it's not working. Short-term marketing success is super important for business, especially if you're launching a new product or new service. Kind of think of like opening up session dates or offering a mini session. Honestly, short-term marketing is super essential when you first start out, and it's very involved as you grow as well. But there are definitely some drawbacks of using just short-term marketing strategies in your business. Now, most social media platforms run by some type of algorithm, which is super great. Algorithms, I know, get a really bad rap. People are always like, oh, the algorithm is working against me. But honestly, the algorithm is working for you. It ensures that people see that the things that they are interested in every time that they open an app, right? So instead of thinking that it's working against you, it can definitely work for you. Some of the drawbacks of short-term marketing is that in order to rank higher in this algorithm, you have to be consistent in how you show up, but you also have to be willing to adapt and change to changes that come on the platform. So this means that you're constantly adjusting your approach, sometimes even month to month. So it can be super fun for creatives like us, but it can also be really frustrating because something that has worked in the past, just like a couple weeks ago, might not work as well today. So you're constantly reinventing the wheel. You kind of feel like you're on this hamster wheel if this is the only form of marketing that you're using. So that's where things like long-term marketing strategies come into play, right? So what are the pros of long-term marketing? Long-term marketing can help you build brand awareness, deliver sustainable results for years to come. So without long-term marketing strategies, you're really only as good as your last campaign or your last Instagram post that got a lot of views. That's where long-term, it's something that's it might take a little bit longer to start, but it's going to last you a lot longer. The results are going to come to you over a longer period of time, right? So what are some forms of long-term marketing for photographers? So long-term marketing can be things like stylized shoots, especially if you're planning on getting your shoot printed in a national publication or maybe even on a national blog. They can be super fun to plan and execute, and they're really fun creatively to create something from nothing. So stylized shoots can be a form of long-term marketing. Another long-term marketing option is something that you're listening to right now, and that is a podcast, which is fantastic for long-term marketing. I personally still am getting downloads from episodes that I published back in 2019. Like hundreds of episodes are being downloaded every month from a episode that I had published years ago, which is amazing. I don't have a lot of people that are going back and reading, commenting, or liking Instagram posts from 2019. Like that feels kind of weird when that happens, right? But when we're talking about long-term marketing, there is like the king, the queen of long-term marketing, and that is SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it is the best way to take advantage of this type of marketing. And as photographers, the way that we can really harness SEO or search engine optimization is through blogging. I know when it comes to blogging as photographers, we can kind of think about only blogging our sessions that we have photographed and like shooting that and kind of treating it as like a portfolio type thing. But if that's the only way that you are using your blog on your website, you are missing out on so much. There is so many other things that you can blog about as a photographer, and we're going to talk about those a little bit right now. So you can blog in order to educate your clients or give potential clients a look at who you are and a peek at what it's like to work with you. So when we're talking about educating our clients, we can talk about things that answering questions that come up when people book you. You can write blog posts about that. You can create or write posts that kind of address issues that you've had during sessions or during weddings or during shoots so that they don't happen again. A great thing for me is I've been recently talking about family formals because I had a couple weddings this year where family formals took way longer than they should have, just because my brides were not as educated as I would have appreciated them to be. And that falls on me because I didn't get them the information that they needed. So using my blog, I am creating some blog posts that are really geared towards, efficient and relaxed timelines for weddings. And part of that is making sure that our family formals are really thought out beforehand. And so that way we can just roll through them really quickly. And we don't have a list that's like 9 pages long because I love it. Like it's great that everyone's there to celebrate it. But if when you talk to a bride and groom and what's important to them is, pictures of them together as a couple, but then sometimes they get sidetracked in like adding in all of these like millions of family formals. Sometimes you just need to stop and be like, hey, is this really what's important to you? Or is this something that you just maybe saw on Pinterest, a list of like 9,000 images that someone quote unquote told you should be capturing on your wedding day? And just having that conversation with them to be like, hey, I want to make this an experience for you that you're super happy with and that we capture what's truly important to you as a couple and not what you think you should be capturing, which I think is, super, super important. Kind of got off on a tangent there. But like I said, you can use your blogs to educate your clients. Now, as photographers, we tend to kind of focus on the visuals, right? Because we are photographers, right? We don't really think of ourselves super great in general, like maybe you're amazing at it, but I don't find very many photographers who feel that they're really great at writing. Now, with photographers, we can still use our image to capture the power of SEO. And that is ensuring that we are using things like alt tags and letting Google know what it is that our images are actually about. So I posted a blog post on my website back in 2015, and I'm still getting traction and views from this post even 7 years later. Like I said before, I barely get any views or likes or comments on a reel after 24 hours. So in order, to put in a little bit of work into something that's going to give you results for years later, it really, really, really is such a good use of your time. Now, one of the downfalls is that it definitely takes some time for you to start seeing results with SEO. You're not going to see those instant results like you do on social media. And I get it. It's hard to put work into something that you don't see results from quickly. But I promise you, in the long run, it is worth it to put in some work and write some blog posts. And I want to kind of show you, kind of how this has kind of worked out for me and my business, even in the last year. So last summer, I photographed a ton of engagement sessions inside Theodore Roosevelt National Park, which is a Badlands National Park in North Dakota. And I blogged every single one of those sessions. And I made sure that I used all of my SEO hacks in order to really optimize those sessions. I think I ended up being like 4 or 5 engagement sessions in this national park. And the images were amazing. Now, I photographed those in July, August, September, and October of 2021. This spring, I ended up booking 3 different clients that are flying in from other states in order to shoot with me in the Badlands, including a proposal that I have coming up that we've been planning for months. This guy is going to propose to his girlfriend, and they're coming in from Wisconsin, and it's going to be super, super awesome. I'm so excited about it. But all of that is because I rank as the top photographer when you search Badlands photographer right now, and that's only about a year later. And I am booking clients, booking work off of stuff that I did last year, and it works. It definitely works, but it definitely took, 6 months for me to see that traction and to see that conversion. So if you are thinking about blogging at all and you're not really sure what it is that you want to blog about, I have a free resource for you. And it is a year's worth of blog post topics. And that's, it's 55 blog post topics. So it's actually over a year. And I actually have this broke down into a few different things. There's actually 3 different downloads. There's 3 different freebies that you can choose from. So I have one that is for wedding photographers, one that is for family photographers, and one for senior photographers. So altogether, we're looking at 165 blog post topics if you wanted to download all 3 of them. But essentially, it is kind of this bank of topics that you can use whenever you are thinking about writing a blog post outside of, blogging your sessions, because it is definitely super important to blog your sessions or your weddings to showcase your work. That is something I think you should definitely do. But there is so much more that you can blog about to really push your website up higher and also educate your clients, inspire your clients, that type of thing as well. So I definitely know the pain and frustration of having this blinking cursor kind of mocking me whenever I sit down to write blog posts. And that's why I created this list for you. So if you head over to chelseyweisz.com/blogging, you can choose which one is going to be the best for you, whether it's seniors, families, or weddings. And we'll have this linked up in the show notes below, but it's Chelsy Weisz, CHELSYWEISZ.com/blogging. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. It is so important for you guys to really make sure that you're using both short-term and long-term forms of marketing in order to grow over the long haul for your business. Short-term marketing is going to give you that engagement, that spike in your business, but long-form marketing, things like bloggings, can really become the workhorse that drives your business forward for years to come. So remember, if you want to get your hands on that download that I was talking about, the 55 blog post topics, go ahead and take the next brave step forward in your business and head over to chelseyweisz.com/blogging. You can get that download there and totally free. Go ahead and grab it. That is it for today's episode, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for listening to the Next Brave Step podcast. I hope you enjoyed diving deep into all the tips and tricks that you can use to help cultivate more joy, curiosity, and courage to create the business that works for your goals, not the goals of others. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would be so grateful if you could share it with others and leave a rating and review. As always, you can head over to the nextbravesteppodcast.com to download your free list of 55 blog post ideas for photographers. You can also find all the links and resources there in the show notes. That's it for this episode. I'll catch you next time. Bye.